Because when working with your dad,
let's go.
That music came in front of you.
And go. There's no like, well, can we learn this? No.
No.
Here, the chart is here.
No.
You've got 10 minutes.
Exactly. And I remember one time doing like 9 jingles and you in about 15 minutes with your dad.
I'm sure. I think I sang on a couple of things you played on with my dad.
I'll bet you did. You know.
But then by that time, I was kind of out here in LA.
Right.
And you were going back to Chicago to work with him sometimes.
Amazing.
And then they came out here a few years later.
Then he came out.
And you worked with him out here too.
Yeah,
right?
I worked with him out. And his studio was at Sunset Sound, which is where Foreplay recorded our first album. So I'd see him every day.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I think about Dick Marks every day.
Do you?
Seriously. I mean, just because, your music is always on. And then, we did the videos together and he was such a great arranger. But I really do. What a great man,
I felt the same way about him. I felt the same way about your mom.
Wow.
We, like you said, we hit the parent lottery for sure.
Yeah.
And that really sets us apart. And that's another thing in our friendship. As we get older, the people who I go back the longest with are the people who have memories of my parents. And that's an important link. But you're on a different scale because you really were like, my parents just adored you. And you, like I said, you stayed at their house and whether I was around or not. You had a separate friendship with my parents than from me.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful.
Which is, I can't think of too many people in my life that's the case.
And my parents, this is important because I think you know this, but it's really good for me to tell you. And my mom was very musical too, great singer.
Right.
But my dad was sort of like the man, and he was such a brilliant musical mind.
Right.
They loved you, but they respected you. They really like my dad's was such a fan of your talent.
Wow.
And he would rave about, nobody plays like Nathan. Nathan's the guy.
Unbelievable.
It's beautiful.
Well, coming from, the guy, he was the governor.
Yeah, he really was.
of Chicago. And, and like I say, your mom, by the way, my bed there, that was legendary, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things I used to do, because whenever I stay with somebody, or even my hotel, it's kind of a little bit crazy, but like I make the bed, but like military style.
Yeah,
like,
that's great. That's
the
beautiful.
housekeepers come in there and, wait a second.
Just mean I don't get a tip?
Right. And it's just something that I'm in the habit of doing. I can't get out of the bed without making. So when I stayed at the house, when I made that bed, like, I'm sure did he sleep in the bed?
My mom was probably like, and she could make a bed, but she was probably impressed. She was probably like, he needs to show me what he's doing.
I mean, this is a skill
bouncing a dime off it.
Back in the day, because we, with all our kids and, 5 boys, 2 girls in one room, and we were having bed making contests, so, the military tuck and then all this
awesome.
stuff. So I used to, that's what I wanted to like leave when I left. And then I went, wait a second, was he just here?
Was he even, did we imagine him being here?
And this is where like, I realized you got your relationship chops from, because everything's about relationships, right? I mean, and I don't know anybody better than you at a friendship and keeping that friendship. And like I said, 40 years, and we've just gone in and out of each other's lives, musically, non-musically.
Yeah.
And that's, we know a lot of people fall out in this town.
Yeah.
Or you just kind of fall out of friendship and everything. But you really are one of the best, like, friend makers and keepers that I know.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, I feel like I've been really blessed in that way, for sure. And I'm proud of the fact that I have multiple friends of 40 years and more. I'm 61. I've got a couple of friends still from high school and from grade school.
Wait, you're 61?
Yeah.
I've been telling everybody you're 41 all this time.
Yes, 61.
Wow.
But I really appreciate that. And that's, to me, like a better compliment than... It's like when I do interviews and people go, how do you want to be remembered? The last thing on my mind is creative or musical. I want to be remembered as a really good father.
Right.
I try really hard to be a good father to this day. My sons are all in their 30s. I know how important that is to you. There's something, I'm going to get to the parent thing for obvious reasons later, but that's another reason why I think we've been friends all this time, is that the things that matter to us are the things that should matter to people.
Right.
That has always bonded us. Like our love for music and musicians and being, no matter what we've achieved, to be fans, like super fanboys of David or Maurice or whoever.
Right.
I think that's just part of the way we were raised, how important family is to us.
Right.
So.
And I think there's another thing that, like, you were 18, but I already noticed that your ambition and your ability to get on with people and wanting to be that guy, a friend. That's something that it just doesn't happen. I mean, that's something that you put some work into,
Yeah. Well, I'll say this because I want to be honest in this conversation. I think that just from my vantage point, I don't know this to be true, but I'm going to guess it's true. I think that one of the things that is different about us in terms of relationships and friends is you, from my vantage point only, have been such a straight line with people. I don't know of you falling out with people. I'm sure you have because it's life. But I don't know, I've always been, for whatever reason, and I've had multiple shrinks try to figure this out for me, because I had such a beautiful childhood. But even when I was a kid, I was confrontational. Right. I was didn't like to be told what to do. I had a real, if I treated you with respect, I demanded it in return, even when I was young. And so when I came out to LA and I started in this business, I would get confrontational if I felt like that needed to happen. I've had close friendships that blew up over stuff where they're dead to me. Like,
wow.
Yeah, I can be like, fuck him. I can be like, fuck him for good. I don't see that in you at all.
Sometimes it's okay to think it.
Yeah. But that's a gift and a decision making that I admire. Because I know that there have been people that have rubbed you the wrong way, or you've been, but you're going to do it in a classy way where they don't even know, where you're going to extricate yourself from a situation without burning that bridge. That's really smart. I've been dumb. No. I'm the guy that goes, fuck you! And your mom!
Well, it's just our views on that. Like, for me, it feels good at that second, but I don't see the upside.
Yeah, no, you're smart.
And I know
your
many people that... Your
diplomacy has served you well.
Yeah, and there's many times where it would be justified, and you'd feel great, and good, I got that.
But then the aftermath is...
But I don't see the upside of that, as opposed to if you don't do it, and then all of a sudden the circle comes back around now. And I can tell you, I have friendships that I could have gone there, but I didn't, and now they're even stronger than they were.
That's great.
It's
also, there's something kind of really lovely about circling back to people sometimes. When Kenny Loggins was here, we got into that a bit, and I wrote about it in my book. But I wrote about it in my book, about my history with him. And long before we went to print, I sent him the pages and I said, I want to make sure that you're okay with this, because I'll change it or I don't have to. And he called me and he went, don't change a word. That's exactly what happened. Wow. And yeah, it doesn't make me look great, but it's what happened. And he said, and I want you to put it in the book, because how beautiful is it that we're close, that we've circled back to each other years later, and that we're great friends. He said, I think that that's important. Yeah. Because it shows forgiveness on both parts, and it shows real life. Because Kenny, I just idolized him so much, and I met him soon after I met you, and you were touring with him, actually, when I met him.
Exactly. Wow.
Yeah.
1984, maybe something like that.
83, 84.
83, 84, yeah.
And then I won't bore you with the details, but like I just loved him and we were friends. We didn't work together. We just were friends. He took a liking to me and we play racquetball together and have lunch together. And I was like, I couldn't believe I was pals with my hero, with Kenny Loggins.
Right.
And then he just got weird and he kind of like left me behind, like just completely cast me off.
Wow.
And it hurt me so much. But instead of being hurt, I got pissed. So then a couple of years later, I started having hits. And there was a thing where he was doing a gig that I think was hurting a little bit or they needed some help with. And I was out touring and they got me to come and be on this show with him to help ticket sales at that time.
Right.
So it was the first time I'd seen him in years.
Wow.
And he was like happy for me and like, hey, and I was just sort of like, yeah. And I just ignored him. Like I wouldn't talk to him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like,
Wow.
fuck you. You know? And it went on for years and then little by little, we just kept bumping into each other. And then something in me was like, what am I doing? And then we became really, really like, he's like, I adore him.
Yeah.
So I know what you mean.
Well,
that's what I'm saying is I admire and congratulate you on handling your life that way. I wish I had done that more.
Well, that says a lot for two people. And they say when you forgive, two people get healed, right?
Yep.
You know. And, you know, first of all, somebody can't, you know, they can't burn you if you don't love them like that, you know.
Right.
Like the fact that you loved him so much.
That's the only reason we had a problem.
Made it.
If I didn't care, I would be like, I don't care.
Right.
But it hurt me. I just didn't I didn't know how to express that without it being anger. That has been a lesson I've learned as I've gone through life, which is identify what the emotion is.
Right.
Maybe somebody's not pissing you off or disrespecting you the way you think. Maybe they've just done something that hurt your feelings. And it's hard, sometimes it's hard for a man to go, you hurt my feelings. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather go,
dude,
you pissed me off. Go fuck yourself. You know, confrontational, like it's stupid.
And you know what? I think that's a very healthy and you know, just something that is a quality. You get something off your chest, and you know, if you said that to me, I know how he feels about me now. You know, which is to me better than you smiling in my face and then turning around and saying, "That's
right." You mean like show business?
Right. As soon as the door closes.